Hey everyone, this is the era of AI we are living in, and this is the future. So, learning AI is the most needful subject for each and everyone those are choosing IT and software engineering as their career. And for this, we are going to start a complete new series on Gen AI. You will get to know each and everything on Gen AI and how to use it on your career. So, go for this series and get the best course on your future need.
In the software world, we have some definitive processes. We should go with that process. If somebody is very good at designing, that means architect, then it is easier to build a good house. If your design itself is faulty, then the civil engineer or the civil construction person cannot build that well. If you did all the feasibility check before building the house, that means you check the soil, whether it will take how much load, you check the water bodies, you check about the strength of the materials, everything if you checked before, that means your house construction will be feasible. That means if you build a house near to a water body, it may be broken. So those stuff we need to consider. So in software world also, we do all those stuff. We need to understand the requirement and develop. And as I mentioned, we have some processes in that. So one of the popular process is called waterfall model. Probably everybody know about waterfall model. So that is the most popular one because everybody studied that during their syllabus. So it is very similar to that, how the waterfall model work actually. So if you consider the waterfall model, it started with the requirement. So what is requirement? Defining the problem, identify the scope of the problem, and develop the plan strategy to solve the problem. So that is called requirement. So requirement means you are understanding what exactly we need to do. Okay. Then comes analysis. Like as I mentioned, investigate the problem, define the requirement, and necessary for solving it. So that is called analysis. Then design the solution based on the requirement, define how. So requirement gives what to do, design will explain how to do. In our example of house building, design is your architect. He will develop the whole house. The house is not yet exist, but he developed on the paper. Okay, the house looks like this, that would be this much entry point, this much window, all those stuff we defined. Then code. Code is another perspective which is only related to software engineering. So there would be developers, so they develop the code. It means in our house construction, the construction persons are the engineers who develop the core house. Once the core house developed, then people will do all this checking. Okay. So now in code development, there are different type of people. Front-end developer, back-end developer, integrators. So similarly in house building, there would be external construction, internal construction like interior decorators. Then you have all these integrators like your electrification, your plumbing people, they do all those stuff. So all those stuff once happen, you proceed of the testing. You come and check whether everything is correct or not. If everything is correct, you proceed for, then house is there. You are going to leave there. That is go live. After that, you have to maintain all the stuff regularly. Once you did the house coloring, it will not last for long. You have to do that every year or every 2 years. If there is some leakage happening, you have to fix that. So all the stuff is continuing. So that is very simple house building example map to a software engineering of a process called waterfall model. So that's how the new kind of process introduced that is called iterative waterfall model, in which you can go to any stage at any time. Okay, and repeat the stages again. So if you are at the testing, you find some bug, you move to coding. But if the bug is at the design level, you can move to design, and after design again coding, again testing. If your bug is very severe, that at the analysis level already it missed, like as I mentioned in our example, the soil test is not done properly. So you have to go back to analysis. And there they will say, oh, there is a water body below the soil. So we need to put lot of packing. We need to remove all these water bodies. So those analysis need to be done. Now, each time when you do this, what is the issue? Your budget is going to increase. Budget is growing. So after some time, people think, okay, we can go to another stuff, which is called prototype model. So have you heard about Konark temple example? So before developing the Konark temple, they develop a prototype, a small Konark. Okay. Similarly, before developing, like these days, Parliament Bhavan is one of the popular examples. Before developing the Parliament Bhavan, they create a small prototype of that parliament. They explain everything, or before developing Ram temple or anything, they develop a small version of that. Now that is called prototype model. So you did all the requirement gather, you decide quickly, do all the refinement, create a prototype. And if the prototype is acceptable by the customer, then you proceed with design, implementation, testing, and maintenance. So all these four stages, which are very common in waterfall model and in prototype model, but in prototype model, first you develop the prototype and then you proceed for that. So what is the benefit in prototype model? If there is any error, you'll find during the prototype development. So most of these car company, or you can take the example of Indian Air Force, the fighter plane development by the DRDO. So what they did, they work on a prototype for how many years? Around 40 years. And after that, they got the design. And once they approved the prototype, now they are developing in a mass like 100, 110, like that. So what it means, if your prototype is perfectly all right, then you can proceed for production. Now, in this, what is the issue? If your prototype is taking too long, then your whole production is stopped. So first you have to develop a good prototype. Is it a good idea or bad idea? Now it depends on the project, which kind of a project you are tackling. Once this prototype and waterfall model are not so popular right now. Why? Because in software world, we need the stuff very quickly. Because we will not wait for 40 years or 30 years to develop the product, because the software market change in every 6 months. So every 6 months, new technology come, new version come, new people come. So that means we have to be very fast. Now, to make it faster, the waterfall model or prototype model, we consider a model called agile methodology. Now, in agile methodology, the requirement come, automatically proceed for design, we develop that, test that, deploy that, and review that. If there is any issues, again, we do design, develop, test, deploy. And once the review is over, we'll proceed for launch. That means if you consider about any software, big software, like let's consider Facebook. They understand the requirement, they design, develop, test, and deploy as a college project. They review, oh, it's working fine. Again, they redesign, redevelop, retest, and deploy as a beta version. Okay. And again, the beta version is working fine. So again, they enhance that big data, design, develop, test, deploy, and review, and again, launch as a version 1. And it will go on, and it is still going on. Same to the Google. What it means, they're introducing to the market, even the product is not yet perfectly all right. So is it a good model? The answer is yes. Till now, in any software segment, we consider agile development is a good development process, because every time we are going in a cycle manner, and every time when we track and monitor, we understand the error. Again, we proceed, and this cycle is go on till we are getting the best product. Okay. So as you can see, it is a continuous cyclic method. There are waterfall model, iterative waterfall model, prototype model, even spiral model. There is another model which is cyclic in nature. All are linear in nature, right? That's how it is more popular. As I mentioned, there is another model called spiral model. Now, spiral model is always used for a very, very big project. If you consider a big project, which is linked to for 50 years or 100 years, like India took a project called polio removal project. Okay. How many years? It took 50 years. So every time they design to implement the project, they do the coding, who should do what, they integrate the whole public, all the machineries, they do testing, and they again deploy, they went to the ground and do. Again, they evaluate, again, they plan, again, they do all the risk analysis, and again, they do all this engineering part, right? So that means they are going on, going on, going on. What is their objective? Zero polio. And they proceed this way. Every time they do that. So it is a circular method. It's a spiral method, but it's for a very big project. Or if you introduce into the software industry, you have to make it very small timeline of spiral, like 1 week or 2 weeks. And through that, there is a cyclic method is introduced into the market, and which we call the Scrum methodology. So Scrum is introduced, and that Scrum is current days are most popular. Now, because of the Scrum, we come to know that there is a concept called product development. We need to understand what is the Scrum and product development. So product development. Now, when I'm coming to a product development, we need to understand the opportunity. Okay. And opportunity means we call that problem. So if there is any problem, then there would be a product. If there will be no problems, there will not be any product. So you can get any example of product development. You always find there is definitely problem statement behind that. The temperature is very high during the summer. So what is the solution for that? Like Siberia, Siberia is a place in a Russian area. So the temperature is always 0 degree, -1 degree. So if temperature is less, what is the solution for that? So you can use like room heaters. Okay. That means each time when we are thinking any problem, we are getting one opportunity to develop a product. Okay. So there is a saying, if no problem is there, no product is there. Okay. So let's consider the temperature as a problem. So previously people have hand fans. If the temperature is high, they use the hand fan to cool them off. Then they get the electricity. So they are using the electric fan. When the electric fan is not enough for them, they are using air conditioners. Okay, so उसके बीच में there is some cooler concept is there. Then AC is coming into picture. Now AC also not work at more than 50 degrees centigrade. What they'll do, they'll go back again the old tradition of cool off houses. So they'll make the houses, and those houses is having two layers of walls, and in between that walls they will put air. So air will be there. So all the temperature will be coming. It will hit to the first wall, and the second wall will be cool. And in that way, they will make the house more survivable in the temperature time. So that is how many solutions are getting developed with the problem statement. Now, all of you is the first task is to develop, to find out problem statements. So in your day-to-day life, you observe what is happening, and based out of that, you need to find at least one problem statement, but if you can develop 5 problem statement, okay. As much as problem statement you can develop, that would be better for our discussion and progress. Now, apart from problem statement, what is the next in a opportunity sheet? I already share one document with all of you. You can check that document. So that document shows first one is the user and customer. Now, once you find the problem statement, you need to understand for whom we are developing the product, for whom we are developing the solution. Okay. So that is one of the necessary stuff.
So hope you enjoyed the first session of Gen AI. So keep learning and do like, share and subscribe our channel.